the new Harpsichord large floor Inkle Loom. It was just recently designed and we've tested it and it works really good. And the kitty likes it too. What's really neat about this loom that's kind of unusual, at least in my opinion, is it's actually two looms in one. If you were to actually take a good look, this is one of our harp looms on the top here, and it's basically attached to a stand. So what's neat is that you can use it as a whole floor stand and get up to an 18-foot band on it, or you can actually detach it. It's very simple to do. It's just two little dudes here. You just loosen them up, take it off, and you're ready to go. Yep. When you warp up the harpsichord, you have to really be certain to have this peg here as close to the end as possible, and this bottom tension peg here, way down here, has to be all the way down to the bottom. The biggest problem with these large warp Inkle looms is that releasing enough tension to be able to advance your warp through the loom is difficult. And that was what we had a lot of trouble with when we were designing the prototypes. We finally figured it out, and I have to tell you, this one works great now. Basically, you have two ways to release the tension, and that really helps. So basically, when it's time to advance, as you can see, I'm pretty close. I could probably go a little further, but I'm ready to advance. All I have to do now is loosen this top one and see how much room I have here to take tension off the strap. You could almost pull it this way without even, oops, dropped my shuttle. You could almost advance it without really having to do too much. But basically what I find is the best way to do it is just advance it to where you want it to be. Kind of keep your hand on up here. Then basically just kind of scooch your warp through. You have to help it a little bit. It's just an awful lot. If you were to sit here and yank on it from the top and all that, you're just putting a lot of tension on the loom and your warp. So basically, I just kind of go through here and I tighten it up like that. If I feel I need to pull a little bit more, I do. Take your time. The nice thing about this loom is that there is a huge area here, up here for weaving, so you don't have to advance a whole lot. Once you get to a point where you really like it, like this is neat, I didn't even have to loosen that one down there at the moment. You get where you want it to be, and basically just pull it as tight as you can get it, and tighten up your peg again. And you're ready to start weaving. Another important thing is that when you're using the full harpsichord warping, this peg here is kind of not used. We left it in there because it's used when you use it as a harp. So just to basically, you know, put people's minds at rest, don't worry about not using that peg. If you really get to the point where you have a very tight tension, like as you keep advancing and weaving, it does get tighter and tighter and tighter. You could always just simply slip this part of the warp off of this back peg and onto this other peg, and that would give you another almost 2 inches worth of tension release. Kind of a neat little feature. Unexpected, but unique. We've had a question or two about the stability of the loom, and I want to tell you, this baby is not going anywhere. As you can see, it isn't tippy at all. I mean, you have to really tip it to make it tip, and it goes right back to where it needs to be pretty well. And what's really kind of neat is that because of the feet, you can just put your foot on it if you really feel that you need even more stability. It's made out of a really heavy red oak, and I'm telling you right now, it's got a little bit of weight to it, and so that does help a lot. We've been playing with ours. We have a couple prototypes, and they've never tipped over, so I think you'd be surprised how stable they are. You can bump it, like if somebody bumped into it, it goes right back to its normal position. Even when you have a dog around. Doggy, Evie. Even dogs can walk around it. Oh, Sweetie.